Hello, loves. It's Nina with Passion Squared. Welcome back to the podcast. Are you watching the Olympics? Oh my God. I am just so inspired. And, you know, I used to be a gymnast when I was little. And I think about those days and it's like, oh, it would be so cool to get back on the mat. But first, I have to be able to like walk in a straight line. So, baby steps, right? Baby steps. So, today I want to revisit a topic that we have talked about a gazillion times over 10 years. And it's around your content as your marketing. And specifically, I have noticed over the last year that I'm seeing less and less client shaming content. And if you followed Passion Squared, you know I've been talking about this literally for 10 years. And I wanted to hone in on a specific brand fundamental that I think can really help you or those you serve if you work with other hairdressers, if you're a coach or educator. Really understanding these brand fundamentals can completely shift the way people see content and marketing to ultimately build a clientele that you want to build. So what I typically see, and I've seen this for years, is hairdressers will be inspired by and follow influencers, educators. And it's kind of like, oh, look at this content they're creating and people are liking it and sharing it and the views are high and responding to it. And I think it's really funny. And oh my gosh, I can so relate to this content. And then they start to share similar content on their local salon pages. So, an example, an influencer creates content that's bitching about clients always seeing yellow, right? They're still yellow, that same old, thing. And so if you're a hairdresser, you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I struggle with that so much. This is so relatable. But then when you don't understand your brand or marketing, you then take that idea and use it as your content for your local salon business. So you start shaming clients about saying they always still see yellow. But they're different audiences. The influencer and educator's audience is you. If you are a local salon business, your audience is local clients, maybe team members, or tenants if you're a lease-based salon. Different brands, different audiences. And that's why it doesn't translate well. That's why I've never recommended creating that type of content to build your local business unless that vibe, that sarcastic, shamey vibe, is a part of your brand promise, which 99% of the time, that is not the case. Yes, of course, there's sarcastic brands. Yeah, there's all kinds of different brands. But most of what I see, that is not the case. That is not the case. So different brands serve different audiences. And because of that, different brands create different type of content to engage with those different audiences. Your content is your marketing. Your brand is about who you serve. So if your audience is other hairdressers, lash artists, tattoo artists, whatever, then yes, your content will speak or is designed to speak directly to them, what they value. If your audience is local salon clients, teams, or tenants, then your content needs to speak directly to those folks, what they value, what they care about in their language. It's not the same. And so, as I've been talking about for the last episodes this year, January, if you haven't listened to the Year of Perspective, the January 2024 episode, I do recommend listening to that. However, I was talking about where some some stylists are struggling with their business. And one of the reasons I shared was this overcorrection in putting up walls instead of setting healthy boundaries through agreements, being difficult to do business with, pricing that's not aligned with the brand, client shaming, content. Because here's the deal, and I really need you to hear this and share this. Marketing is about relationships, and relationships are built on trust. Trust. I'll say it again. Trust. And when we think about building trust and the steps we take to build trust, consistency is a big part of it, right? Healthy boundaries is a big part of it. Respecting people's privacy in the conversations, in, information. Being able to have difficult conversations and have a healthy outcome. Trust. And one of the biggest ways to break trust, to put cracks in trust, is shaming. Because it's a lack of boundaries, right? It's a lack of boundaries or unhealthy boundaries. So if a client's like, oh my gosh, like I see this salon talking shit on clients, I don't want to be that client. Like I'm scared. I'm scared that if I say one thing wrong or ask a question that rubs someone the wrong way, that I'm going to be put on blast on the socials. So if we think about that, the fundamental, we're always going back to the fundamentals here at Passion Squared, right? Marketing fundamental. Trust builds relationships. Relationships create referrals. Referrals are retained when we deliver awesome, aligned experiences consistently. And when I say aligned, I mean aligned with your brand promises. And referrals retained creates revenue. So when we think about those fundamentals, building that strong foundation to create long-term growth, it kind of sounds like, oh yeah, shit, that's really not something I want to do. Again, different audiences, different brands, different promises, different values, different needs, different problems, different solutions. Very early on in Passion Squared, one common question that I got asked, and I don't get asked it as much anymore, but very much in the beginning, is why are all my followers hairdressers when I need them to be clients because I'm focused on building my local business? And this is what we're talking about. One of the reasons, if you are still in that boat where you have more hairdressers following you on the socials than clients, potential clients, it's because your content is your marketing. It's because you're speaking to other hairdressers. You're speaking in their language. And so the content, an average client or potential future client, they don't see value in it. Not because it's not great content, it's just not for them. Your content is your marketing. What you put out, you get back. And so if you're talking to hairdressers, then you're going to get more hairdresser followers, or lash artists, tattoo artists, any of those. If you're creating content that educates, inspires, adds value for clients, your clients, potential future clients, then that's what you're going to get back. Your content is your marketing. It always comes back to the fundamentals. It always comes back to the fundamentals. And that context is really important because, yes, be inspired, build community with each other. That's amazing and needed and important. However, that's different than the platforms that you are using to build relationships, to create value for a local consumer, customer, client market. You feel the difference? You see the difference. Your content is your marketing. This is the stuff that we work on in A School. This is the stuff that we work on in the Creating Your Awesome Brain course. These are the fundamentals that help you build a strong foundation. With a strong foundation, you can do anything. But without a strong foundation rooted in the fundamentals, you may continue to struggle because you don't have a strong foundation. I hope you have a peaceful week. I hope you're enjoying these Olympics and feeling inspired by these incredible athletes. And I shared this on my Facebook page, personal Facebook page last week. How inspired I have been seeing the gymnastics competition, both the women's and the men's, and how much joy they appear to be experiencing than I've ever seen before. And again, I've been watching the gymnastics Olympics since I could watch TV. And I remember the eras of just so stressed out and so unhealthy. And it takes a lot of courage to stand up and say, I'm not doing okay, which is what Simone Biles did in Tokyo. And to be able to come back, that right there is badass. And such an important reminder for all of us that our needs matter and that mental health matters. And sometimes it's lonely to stand up for yourself. Because if you've watched the Simone Biles documentary or followed that story, she got a lot of shit for what she did in Tokyo. A lot of shit. But she decided to put her needs first and take care of herself. And to see the joy on her face, on Suni's face, on all of them. That, to me, is the greatest gold medal. So please take care of yourselves. Because you are worthy of feeling joy. Life is hard enough. Business is hard enough. You got to put some joy in there. And I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a peaceful day. Bye.